Welcome to the explainer. So, when your budgie suddenly bites you, do you actually know what they're trying to tell you? Look, most people assume it means just one thing. Their bird is being aggressive, angry, or just plain difficult. But honestly, that is almost always the exact opposite of what's really happening. Today, we're completely reframing how you perceive a budgie bite. We're moving away from that frustration and toward deep empathy.
Okay, let's dive right into the question every single budgie owner has agonized over after getting a sudden, shocking nip. Why did they do it? As we just mentioned, the gut reaction is to think, wow, my bird is so aggressive.
But in most cases, a budgie bite is not an attack at all. It's actually a reaction to something much deeper that even the absolute most caring owners completely miss. And here's why this matters. If you keep misreading this behavior, you won't just get bitten again. You're going to slowly and potentially permanently damage the trust your bird has been trying so incredibly hard to build with you. So today, we are breaking down these 6 real reasons your budgie uses their beak. And stick around, because the final reason on this list is going to completely change the way you see every bite they've ever given you.
Let's start with reason number 1, the out-of-nowhere bite.
This is the bite every single owner experiences first, and almost nobody understands it correctly. You reached for your budgie, and bam, they bit you so fast it didn't even feel like a decision. It feels like there was zero warning, right? Just an instant reaction. But here is the catch. There actually was a warning. You just didn't know how to spot it. Right before the bite happens, their entire body changes. Their feathers pull tight, their weight shifts backward, and that little beak opens just slightly.
They absolutely aren't doing this to attack you. They're doing it to say, hey, stop. Avian vets emphasize that the real signal is always in the body language. By the time you actually register the open beak, you've already missed the window. Your budgie wasn't angry. They were cornered on your hand with nowhere to fly. The only option they had left was their beak. And look, pushing through this resistance doesn't make you the boss. It simply teaches them that asking nicely doesn't work.
Moving on to reason number 2, the bite you taught them. And this one is a lot harder to accept because you likely started it yourself without even realizing it.
Think about it. Have you ever played with your budgie using your fingers? You know, wiggling them around, letting your bird chase them, thinking absolutely nothing of it? Well, that harmless little game might be exactly where the biting started. It starts small and feels like innocent play, but when you wiggle your fingers, their brain is logging one very crucial piece of information. Moving hands are targets. To their ancient instincts, a fast-moving hand looks exactly like fleeing prey.
In fact, a study in the Journal of Veterinary Behavior actually found that budgies who were regularly played with using hands instead of toys were significantly more likely to bite during normal, non-play interactions. Every time you play this way, it sets you up for a bite later on.
Now, the fix here is incredibly simple, but you absolutely must be consistent. You've got to stop using your hands during play entirely. Instead, introduce a premium foraging toy or a natural wood perch. The goal is to put physical distance between your skin and their beak. And the good news? Within a few weeks of doing this, most budgies will completely rewire that biting response.
Let's talk about the third type of bite. And honestly, this is the one that confuses even the most experienced, caring owners. Why? Because it doesn't come from fear or a sudden trigger, or really anything you did wrong. It actually comes from a moment that felt completely perfect. Everything in their body is saying they're exactly where they want to be, and then out of nowhere, snap.
So here is the truth. Budgies have a biological limit. Their tiny nervous system can only handle so much closeness before it just tips over into biological overload. The exact same physical touch that felt incredible 30 seconds ago suddenly registers as just way too much. And the only way they know how to tell you to back off is with their beak. You know what's crazy? This specific bite almost never happens with careless owners. It happens with the ones who actually show up every day and make their bird feel safe enough to stay that long. This isn't a sign that trust is broken. It's actually proof that something is right. You just went 1 minute past their physical limit.
Now on to reason number 4, hormonal shifts and hidden pain.
What if you change your approach, respect their limits, and the biting still gets worse? Well, this bite is completely different. You won't see it in their body language because it isn't coming from their mind at all. Budgies go through really intense hormonal cycles triggered by things most of us barely even notice. A slight shift in daylight, a tiny temperature change, or even a mirror left in the cage a bit too long can alter their entire internal baseline. Suddenly, a bird that never bit is biting you every single day. Avian vets see owners spiral over this all the time, totally convinced their bond is permanently damaged. But listen to me. Nothing is broken. Their tiny body is simply running a biological program that's older than domestication itself, and they have zero control over it. The absolute worst thing you can do here is force contact. You just need to step back, invest in a high-quality blackout cage cover to help regulate their light schedule, and simply give their biology the time it needs to reset.
Reason number 5, what if the bite has nothing to do with trust and nothing to do with hormones? What if something actively hurts?
This is the one that actually keeps avian vets up at night. You see, budgies are hardwired to hide their pain. In the wild, showing weakness makes you an instant target. So a sudden, sharp bite might be the very first and literally the only warning that they are carrying a hidden internal injury. They'll eat normally, chirp normally, look perfectly fine, right up until you touch the exact wrong spot.
So how do you know if the biting behavior is entirely new, if it only happens when you touch one specific area, or if your bird flinches in a spot they never used to care about? An avian vet visit is not an overreaction. It's the kindest thing you can do for a bird that is silently asking for help, because sometimes a single bite is the only warning you're ever going to get.
And finally, reason number 6, when biting actually means love.
We have officially arrived at the twist I promised you earlier. A bite that will completely change how you view your budgie from this day forward. Sometimes your budgie isn't warning you or acting out of fear at all. They're actually engaging in early flock bonding. Avian behaviorists explain that budgies in the wild groom each other with gentle beak contact to show closeness. That soft little nip, it's them literally saying, I love you. You can easily tell this apart from an aggressive or fearful bite. You aren't going to see any tension in their body. Instead, you'll feel a soft touch with the beak. Their feathers will be totally loose and relaxed, and their eyes might even be half closed. They aren't trying to escape. They feel entirely safe and are just settling in with you.
So, the absolutely crucial takeaway here is this. If you yank your hand away out of fear, you're accidentally rejecting the one creature who just overrode millions of years of prey instinct to choose you. Pulling away registers to them as rejection from the person they trust the most. So next time it happens, just stay still, take a breath, and know that your little flock member trusts you completely. As we wrap up this explainer, I really want to challenge you to look over at your pet with fresh eyes and ask yourself this final, beautiful question. What is your budgie actually trying to tell you right now? Look at their posture, listen to their sounds. Remember that behind every quote-unquote bad behavior is a tiny, highly intelligent creature desperately trying to communicate with you. So, are you ready to listen? Thanks so much for joining us today.